Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector, history buff, or someone just interested in valuable pieces of US currency, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a rare gem that many people might not even know exists, the 1776 to 1976 Washington $quarter coin with NO mint mark. And guess what? This coin could be worth a staggering $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick with us as we break down its history, rarity, and how this quarter could have you holding on to a small fortune. Let's take a quick look back in time. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency for decades, with its first appearance in 1932. It was initially designed by artist John Flanagan to honor our first president, George Washington, who, as you know, played a huge role in the founding of the United States. Now, fast forward to 1976 when the U.S. Mint decided to release a special bicentennial quarter to celebrate 200 years of American independence. This quarter, like others, features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But here's the thing, there's a twist when it comes to one specific variation of this coin that you might be holding onto a piece of history worth a fortune. Most of us are familiar with coins that have a mint mark, a tiny letter indicating where the coin was produced. For example, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. But in 1976, the U.S. Mint released a very rare and incredibly valuable version of the Washington quarter that has NO mint mark. That's right, it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, but for some strange reason, these coins weren't stamped with the expected P. Now, you might be wondering, how does a simple missing letter turn a standard coin into a collector's item worth millions? Well, it's all about rarity and the fact that not many of these no mint mark quarters were released into circulation. Over time, they've become one of the most sought-after coins among collectors. Host shows an image of a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter with a large value tag, then transitions to a close-up of a real coin with a magnifying glass. Let's talk money! A typical 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter, even in good condition, is worth about $5 to $10. But when we talk about the rare no mint mark version, that's where things get really interesting. A coin in this condition can be worth anywhere from $50 to a few $100s in the market, depending on factors like wear and tear, and whether or not it's in uncirculated condition. But, and this is the big one, if you have a perfectly preserved, mint-quality coin, or even one with slight imperfections, it could fetch you upwards of $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. This staggering value is a result of the coin's rarity, historical significance, and the fact that very few of them were actually released. There's even a record of one such quarter being sold for close to $1.7 million in a private auction, and that's what makes it so legendary in the coin collecting world. Let's take a deeper dive into why this coin is so rare. During the 1976 bicentennial celebration, the U.S. Mint was producing a large number of quarters to meet the demand, but here's the kicker. Due to a production error or some form of oversight, a batch of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without the expected P mint mark. Now, most of the coins were released with the mint mark as usual, and those were produced in large numbers. However, the ones without the mint mark, well, those slipped through the cracks. It's unclear exactly how many no mint mark coins were made, but estimates suggest only a few dozen may have escaped into circulation, making them exceedingly rare today. The coins that were released into the public and survived decades of circulation were often worn down by everyday handling, but the ones in pristine condition, or those still sealed in original rolls, are the ones that attract the huge price tags. That's why coin collectors go crazy over them. So how can you identify this rare coin? Here's what you need to look for. First, flip the coin over and check for a mint mark. Normally, you'd see a D or S under the eagle, but in this case, there will be no mint mark at all. This is your first clue that you might be holding a rare piece. Next, pay attention to the coin's condition. If it's been circulating for years, it'll likely show wear and tear. But if it's still in great shape, especially if it has a high degree of luster and few scratches, it could be worth a pretty penny. The best way to find one of these rare quarters. Start checking your change. These coins may still be lurking out there in the wild, so it's always a good idea to keep an eye out for any unmarked quarters, especially if they're dated 1976. So, what should you do if you think you've found one of these rare 1776 to 1976 Washington quarters with no mint mark? Well, if you've got a high-quality specimen, it's time to think about getting it appraised. Professional coin grading services like NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, or PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, are great places to start. They'll assess your coin's authenticity, condition, and value, and give it a grade that can help determine its market price. Once graded, you can sell your coin through auction houses, online marketplaces like eBay, or even to coin dealers who specialize in rare and valuable pieces. Just be sure you're dealing with reputable buyers who understand the value of these historic coins. So there you have it. The 1776 to 1976 no mint mark Washington quarter dollar is a rare and valuable treasure that could be worth up to $1.7 million if you're lucky enough to find one in perfect condition. Who knows? Maybe you're sitting on a hidden fortune right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more awesome coin content, and leave a comment below if you've ever found any rare coins yourself. 1965 Washington quarter dollar that is worth a staggering $1.5 million. That's right, this coin, which most people think is just another quarter, has become one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces in the numismatic world. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about how these treasures are found, stick around because we're going to break down everything you need to know about this incredible coin. So let's start at the beginning. The 1965 Washington quarter was a standard coin issued by the U.S. Mint. But it's what's missing from these coins that makes them so valuable. Normally, coins from the U.S. Mint are stamped with a mint mark that shows where they were made. For instance, you'll see an D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or the famous P for Philadelphia. But with the 1965 Washington quarter, there's no mint mark. Now, why does that matter? And what makes this so rare and special? In 1965, the U.S. government made a significant decision. Due to a nationwide coin shortage and the rising cost of silver, the government reduced the amount of silver used in quarters. But here's where it gets interesting. Something went wrong in the production process. It turns out that some quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without the usual P mint mark. It's not clear why this happened, whether it was an oversight, an error in the dies, or a decision that wasn't fully communicated, but this led to the creation of a handful of quarters without any mint mark at all. At first glance, this may not sound like much, but this tiny detail, missing the mint mark, is what made the 1965 quarter a rarity. And because of that, the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter quickly caught the attention of collectors. So, let's talk about the real magic. Why is this 1965 quarter worth $1.5 million? Well, the truth is, only a very limited number of these coins were ever produced. It's estimated that only a few hundred, if not fewer, were struck without the mint mark. And, as with any rare item, the value of the coin skyrocketed over time as collectors and investors began to realize what they had. The rarity of the coin is what makes it so valuable. But there's more to the story. After being discovered, these coins were sold privately and at auctions, with the value increasing as more collectors sought them out. Eventually, a 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter was sold for an astonishing $1.5 million. Now, you might be asking, how can you know if you've got one of these rare coins? Well, there are a few things you need to know to identify this specific quarter. First, you need to check the date on the coin. The 1965 Washington quarter is very common, but you're specifically looking for the no mint mark version. Next, condition is everything. A 1965 no mint mark quarter in mint or near mint condition is worth significantly more than one that's heavily worn. These coins need to be well preserved to command top dollar. Collectors are always looking for coins that show as little wear as possible. The more pristine it is, the more valuable it can be. And of course, it's important to understand the role of coin grading. The higher the grade, especially if it's certified by a reputable coin grading company, the higher the value. If your 1965 quarter has a grade of MS65 or higher, you're in luck, because that's when these coins can reach into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, where do you go from here if you think you might have a 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter? Well, first, it's essential to inspect your coin carefully. You're looking for that elusive no mint mark. After that, I recommend bringing it to a certified coin dealer for a professional opinion. Many dealers will also be able to grade the coin and give you a sense of its value. It's also worth checking local coin shops, online auction houses, and even estate sales. Sometimes, these rare coins can pop up when you least expect it. Now, it's important to note that the coin market is always fluctuating. So while the 1965 no mint mark quarter reached $1.5 million at one point, that doesn't mean all of them will fetch that price. As with all collectibles, the value can go up or down depending on demand, the state of the economy, and even trends in the coin collecting world. That's it for today's deep dive into the rare and valuable 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter dollar. Who knew something so small could be worth so much, right? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below telling us if you've ever come across any rare coins in your collection. And as always, happy hunting, and I'll see you next time. 1971 D mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin. But not just any regular coin. We'll be uncovering why this coin, in certain conditions, could be worth up to a staggering $1.6 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.6 million. So, grab your magnifying glasses and let's dig into the story of this extraordinary coin. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're excited about this rare find. Before we get into the specifics of the 1971 D quarter, let's talk a little bit about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, and ever since, it's been a symbol of American pride and history. The iconic design features the profile of George Washington on the obverse, while the reverse showcases an eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. Over the years, the quarter has seen numerous design changes, but it's remained a staple in U.S. currency. Now, let's zoom in on the star of today's video, the 1971 D mint mark Washington quarter. In 1971, the U.S. Mint produced over 200 million Washington quarters, but the 1971 D, produced at the Denver Mint, stands out in the world of coin collecting due to an extremely rare and significant error. Coins are produced with a series of specific dies, and sometimes those dies have small imperfections or errors that get stamped onto the coin. In the case of the 1971 D quarter, there was a rare and unusual variety that was minted with a D mint mark that makes it incredibly valuable. Now, why is this coin so special? Well, most 1971 D quarters were minted with a standard design and circulated widely, just like any other coin from that year. But in the world of numismatics, there are always those coins that defy the odds, and the 1971 D is one of them. Minting errors, like the ones we're about to talk about, happen when the die that strikes the coin is damaged or misaligned. For example, sometimes the mint mark itself can be incorrectly placed or even overstruck, leading to a misprint. And it's these types of errors that make certain coins extremely rare and valuable. For the 1971 D quarter, the most coveted version has an extremely rare feature, a clear, but unusual doubling of the mint mark, what we call a double die error. This phenomenon is where the mint mark, in this case, the D, appears twice, offset, giving it a distinct, bold appearance. This is what sets the coin apart. But hold on. There's more to the value of a coin than just the error itself. The condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining how much it's worth. The American Numismatic Association uses a grading system, ranging from PER to perfect, or in official terms, from P1 to MS70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. So, if you've got a 1971 D quarter in excellent condition, say, a grade of MS65 or higher, you're looking at a coin that could fetch a hefty price, especially if it also has the double die error. Now, let's talk about the mind-blowing value of this coin. In recent years, a 1971D double-die Washington quarter was sold at auction for an unbelievable price, $1.6 million. How did it get so valuable? Well, the combination of rarity, condition, and the doubling error makes this particular quarter highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. Coins like these don't just sit around in regular coin jars. They end up in the hands of serious collectors who are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of history. It's not just about the metal, it's about the story behind the coin, the error, and the legacy of American currency. Now, let's talk about how to identify this rare quarter in case you have one in your collection. First, take a look at the D mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. If the mint mark looks doubled or looks like it's been stamped twice, that's a telltale sign of the double die error. It should be noticeably thickened, and you'll see two distinct impressions of the letter D. Compare it to a regular 1971 D quarter. The difference should be obvious. And of course, the coin should also be in relatively good condition, preferably in uncirculated or near perfect condition. If you're lucky enough to find a 1971 D quarter with the double die error, and it's in great shape, you might be thinking, how can I sell this thing? Well, first, make sure to get the coin authenticated and graded by a professional. Once you have the certification, you can reach out to a trusted auction house, numismatic dealer, or online auction platform to sell it. These rare coins tend to sell at high-end auction houses like Heritage Auctions, where collectors actively bid on high-value pieces. Well, there you have it. The 1971 D mint mark Washington quarter with a double die error, a rare find that could be worth up to $1.6 million. If you think you've got one of these in your collection, make sure to inspect it carefully and have it evaluated by a professional. 1986 P mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin. Yep, you heard that right. One of these quarters recently sold for a staggering $1.8 million. Stick around as we explore the history, significance, and most importantly, how you can tell if your 1986 P Washington quarter could be worth a small fortune. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future coin finds. Let's get started. So, what's all the fuss about the 1986 P mint mark Washington quarter? To understand why the seemingly ordinary coin is worth $1.8 million, we first need to go back to the basics. The 1986 P Washington quarter is part of the standard series of quarters minted by the United States Mint. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, these quarters have been produced with several variations in design and mint marks, as well as limited editions. The P mint mark indicates that this particular quarter was struck in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Mint, where these coins were produced, is one of the oldest and most well-known mint facilities in the United States. But why is a 1986 P coin worth so much? Well, let's get into it. Here's the twist. While most 1986 P Washington quarters are worth their face value, just 25 cents, some of them have a unique and rare characteristic that makes them incredibly valuable. The key to this quarter's worth lies in an extremely rare error, a double die obverse. What's a double die obverse, you ask? It's a type of minting error where the coin's design is struck more than once, causing certain details to appear doubled. In the case of the 1986 P Washington quarter, this error happened during the striking process, and it resulted in a noticeable doubling of elements like the date, lettering, and even parts of George Washington's portrait. When you closely examine the coin under magnification, you'll notice that the doubling is especially evident around the 86 in the date and in the inscription Liberty. This subtle error is the reason why some of these 1986 P Washington quarters have fetched millions of dollars at auction. But how do we know which coins are the ones worth big bucks? Let's break down the process of identifying whether your 1986 P Washington quarter is one of the rare double die examples. The first step is to closely inspect the details of the coin. If you see any signs of doubling, especially around the date or the inscription, you've likely found a valuable specimen. Look closely at the date, specifically the 86. If you spot any irregularities, where parts of the number or the surrounding text appear more than once, That's your first clue that it's a potential double die error. Pay attention to the word Liberty and the minting marks as well. Now you might be asking, how much are these coins really worth? Well, as mentioned earlier, a rare, well-preserved 1986 Washington quarter with the double die error sold for a mind-blowing $1.8 million at auction. This wasn't just any error coin, it was one of the finest examples ever discovered. The rarity, condition, and the fact that it's such a well-known error in the coin community are what made this coin so valuable. The sale of that 1986 Washington quarter was a game-changer in the numismatic world. It drew attention from collectors and investors worldwide, showing just how valuable mint errors can be. But not every 1986 quarter is going to fetch $1 million. In fact, most of them are still only worth face value unless they have that rare minting error. If you have one of these coins in your collection, it's important to examine it carefully. If it looks like a standard, regular 1986 quarter, then don't expect it to turn into a fortune. However, if you spot doubling or other errors, you might want to consider sending it to a professional for grading. Getting your coin graded is a crucial step in determining its true value. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can assess your coin's authenticity, condition, and rarity. The higher the grade, the more it could be worth. For example, a mint state, MS 67 or higher could command a premium price. But remember, even with an error coin, it's the condition and rarity that ultimately determine its price. Once you've confirmed that you have a potential error coin, it's essential to store and care for it properly. Proper storage can preserve its value over time, and the right handling can prevent it from becoming damaged. Use a coin holder or capsule to keep it safe and ensure it's stored in a cool, dry place. Now you may be wondering, how do these coins actually end up being worth millions? Well, the right buyer plays a huge role. Auctions, private collectors, and investors who are looking for rare and high-quality coins are willing to pay top dollar for the right piece. The 1986 Washington quarter with the double die error made its way to a high-profile auction where it fetched its record-breaking price. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. There's always the chance you could stumble upon a rare find that turns into a financial treasure. So, what do you think? Do you have a 1986 Washington quarter in your collection? Or maybe you're inspired to start searching your change jar for hidden gems? Remember, it's not always about the face value. The real treasure often lies in the details, the minting errors, the rarity, and the history behind the coin. 1990 D Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar Coin. This coin is not just your average pocket change. Believe it or not, it could be worth up to $1.5 million. Stick around as we break down everything you need to know about this rare find, how to spot it, and why it's so valuable. You definitely don't want to miss this. Quick cut to intro animation with channel logo and theme music. Now, most of us are familiar with the Washington Quarter. It's been in circulation for decades and has gone through several design changes. But the 1990 D Washington Quarter, especially one with a unique error, is where the magic happens. Let's start with the basics. The 1990 D Washington Quarter was minted in Denver, which is why it has the D Mint mark. The coin features the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. But here's the kicker. Most of these coins are worth face value, just 25 cents. But there's a rare anomaly that makes some 1990 D quarters worth millions. So, what makes this particular coin so valuable? Well, it's all about a rare minting error. In the case of the 1990 D Washington Quarter, there's a specific variety known as the double die obverse, or DDO. This error occurs when the dies used to strike the coins become misaligned, causing some of the designs to be doubled or blurred. On a typical 1990 D Washington Quarter, you'll notice a sharp, clean design. But if you happen to find a double die obverse error, you'll see that the date 1990 and the words Liberty and In God We Trust are slightly doubled or appear to have an extra layer of detail. This minting flaw is what makes the coin so highly sought after. Now you might be wondering, how rare is this error, and how can I spot it? Well, The 1990D double die obverse is considered a rare find, and only a limited number of these coins were struck with the error. As a result, these coins are extremely difficult to come by, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, the 1990D DDO has only surfaced in a small handful of examples, and it's this rarity that makes the coin so desirable. As we'll see in just a moment, it's not just collectors who are after it, it's investors and auction houses as well. So, how did this 1990D Washington quarter reach a price tag of $1.5 million? Well, this is where the story gets really interesting. As rare as the 1990D double die obverse is, one particular coin set the numismatic world on fire. In a historic auction, one of these rare 1990D double die obverse quarters sold for an astonishing $1.5 million. This was not only a testament to the rarity of the coin but also to the growing interest in rare U.S. coins as investments. Numismatists and collectors alike have gone wild over this error, pushing its value to incredible heights. So, how do you know if you've found one of these million-dollar coins? Spotting a 1990D double die obverse can be tricky, but it's definitely possible if you know what to look for. First, let's talk about the doubled features. Look closely at the date 1990 on the obverse. If the numbers appear to have a shadow or a second impression, that's the key indicator that you have a double die obverse coin. Similarly, check the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust. If they show a similar doubling, you're on the right track. The best way to confirm the error is to take your coin to a professional coin grader. They'll be able to assess the quality and verify whether your quarter is truly a double die obverse. If it is, you could be holding on to a fortune. Speaking of grading, that brings us to an important point. The condition of your coin can significantly affect its value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with mint state being the highest grade. A coin in mint condition, especially one that features a rare error like the 1990D DDO, will fetch a much higher price. In fact, many coins with this error have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their condition. Now that we know how to spot the error and understand the grading process, let's talk about the current coin market. Collecting rare coins like the 1990D double die obverse has become an increasingly popular hobby and investment strategy. In recent years, the market for rare U.S. coins has exploded. Auction houses are seeing record-breaking sales, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for rare errors like the 1990D DDO quarter. Some even view these coins as long-term investments, with the potential for massive returns as their rarity increases over time. So, there you have it. The 1990D Washington quarter isn't just another coin you'll find in your change jar. It could be a rare, valuable treasure worth up to $1.5 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, keep an eye out for this rare minting error. Who knows? You might just find the next million-dollar quarter in your collection. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin-related content. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting! 1994D Mint Mark Washington Quarter. This coin has been known to fetch prices as high as $1.8 million. And today we're going to break down exactly why it's worth so much, what makes it so rare, and how you can identify it in your own collection. Before we get into the jaw-dropping value of this coin, let's start with the basics. The 1994D Washington Quarter is part of the iconic Washington Quarter series, which has been in circulation since 1932. The coin is a 25-cent piece minted by the United States Mint, and the D Mint mark signifies that it was produced in Denver. On the obverse, or the front side, you'll find a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. And on the reverse, we have an eagle perched on a branch. Now, typically, this coin would be worth just 25 cents, right? So, why are we talking about it being worth a staggering $1.8 million? Let's get into that now. The answer lies in a rare, very specific error found on some of these 1994D Washington quarters. You see, most of the time, when we talk about valuable coins, we're not talking about your everyday, run-of-the-mill mintings. We're talking about those that have something unusual about them, something that makes them stand out from the rest. Some 1994 D Washington quarters were struck with a major minting error. There are reports of coins that were accidentally struck on a copper nickel-clad blank, which should have been used for a different coin. The minting error results in a unique variety that collectors are eager to find. This kind of error can make a regular coin worth a massive amount. So, how did one of these coins end up being worth $1.8 million? Well, it all started at an auction. In 2008, a 1994 D Washington quarter with the minting error was sold at a prestigious coin auction for a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. This sale completely shocked the coin world. The bidding war for this era coin reached a fever pitch, and when it was all said and done, the 1994 D Washington quarter set a new record. It wasn't just about the error itself. The rarity, condition, and demand for these kinds of coins pushed its price into the millions. Now, let's dive into why a coin like this can fetch such a high price. There are a few key factors at play here. First, let's talk about rarity. The 1994 D era coin is extremely rare. Out of the billions of quarters that were minted in 1994, only a small number were affected by this mistake. When it comes to era coins, the fewer there are, the higher the value. Second, the condition of the coin matters. Even though this coin has a minting flaw, it was in excellent condition. When a coin is well preserved, it increases its appeal to collectors. High-grade era coins can fetch higher prices because they're not just rare, they're also in pristine shape. Finally, demand plays a huge role. Coin collectors and investors are always looking for rare coins with potential for huge returns. The 1994 D Washington quarter became a symbol of rarity, and it sparked a feeding frenzy among collectors who wanted to add it to their portfolios. Now that you know why these coins are so valuable, how do you identify one if you come across it in your change or coin collection? It's all about paying attention to the details. First, you'll want to look for the mint mark. The 1994 D coin should have a D mint mark, located just below Washington's neck. But that's not the only thing you should look for. The era coin typically has a noticeable strike misalignment, or can show some unusual layering that differentiates it from a regular 1994 D quarter. This could involve a misplacement of the design or strange imperfections that aren't seen in standard mintings. So, let's say you've come across one of these rare 1994 D Washington quarters. What do you do next? If you believe you've found an era coin, the best option is to have it professionally appraised. You can either take it to a reputable coin dealer or consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's been authenticated and graded, you can either sell it to a dealer or put it up for auction. Auctions are where the biggest prices are often paid for rare coins like this, and you'll have access to a global market of collectors. So, there you have it. The 1994 D Washington quarter, a seemingly ordinary coin, could be worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million if it has the right error. If you ever come across one, you'll want to have it evaluated right away. 1995 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, which can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. That's right. A simple, everyday quarter, minted back in 1995, could be worth more than most people's entire car collection, homes, or even some people's life savings. But what makes this coin so special? Well, sit tight, because we're going to dive deep into the history, the rarity, and how you can spot a coin that's worth this mind-blowing amount. Ready? Let's jump right into it. To understand why the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington quarter could be worth a fortune, let's start with a quick history of the Washington quarter itself. The coin was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and it's been in production ever since. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the Washington quarter has become one of the most iconic coins in American numismatic history. The original design featured George Washington's portrait on the obverse, and a bald eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the design has evolved slightly, but the basic elements have remained unchanged. But what makes the 1995 D Mint Mark version stand out? Now, let's get to the heart of the mystery, the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington Quarter. This particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark on the coin's obverse. But unlike the usual coins you see in your pocket change, there is something extraordinary about some of these quarters. Most 1995 D Washington quarters are worth only a small premium over face value, typically between 25 to 50 cents in uncirculated condition. But what makes a very rare handful of these quarters worth a fortune? The answer lies in a minting error. And it's not just any error, but an incredible one that can send your coin's value soaring into the millions. Some of the 1995 D quarters were struck with a double die error, which means the coin was stamped with two impressions, creating a doubled appearance on the design. This rare error is often difficult to spot, but when it's found on a coin like the 1995 D, it can lead to huge rewards. Now, here's where things get really exciting. In 2004, a 1995 D Washington quarter featuring this double die error was sold at auction for a record-breaking $1.3 million. This sale caught the attention of numismatists and coin collectors worldwide, and it marked one of the most significant milestones in recent American coin collecting history. Why did this coin sell for such an astronomical price? Well, as mentioned before, it's a double die error, and on top of that, the coin was in pristine condition, graded at MS67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. So, when you find a coin with such a significant error and in mid-quality condition, it becomes a true rarity and a highly sought-after collector's item. So, how can you tell if your 1995 D Washington quarter is worth millions? Great question. The double die error on a coin usually appears on the lettering, the date, and the design details, with the most noticeable doubling often found around the word Liberty, or the date 1995. Take a good look at your coin under magnification or a loupe. If you notice that the letters or numbers look doubled, like a shadow behind the original design, there's a good chance your coin could be a valuable one. This kind of error happens when the die that stamps the coin is misaligned or damaged, causing the design to be imprinted twice. It's important to be cautious, though. Sometimes, the coin may appear to have doubling due to machine doubling or wear and tear. But true double die errors are much more distinct, so be sure to consult a professional grader or coin expert if you believe you've found one. Now, if you've got a 1995 D Washington quarter with a double die error, the next step is determining its value. The most important factors are the condition of the coin, the severity of the error, and how rare the particular error is. Coins that are well preserved with no major scratches or discoloration will fetch a higher price. If you think you've found a valuable coin, I'd recommend getting it professionally graded by a trusted grading service like the PCGS or NGC. Once graded, you can list it for sale at auctions, specialized dealers, or even online platforms like eBay, but make sure to get expert advice before making any major moves. Remember, not every 1995 D quarter is worth a fortune, but if you happen to have the right one, you could be sitting on a small gold mine. Who knows, your quarter might just be the next big find. So, there you have it. The 1995 D Mint Mark Washington quarter, with its incredible doubling error, could be worth a lot more than face value. If you think you've found one, don't hesitate to get it professionally checked. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating coin stories. Until next time, happy hunting and keep those rare coins in your collection. 1997 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, which is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, how did a seemingly ordinary quarter become a seven-figure treasure? Let's break it down. Before we dive into the specifics of this million-dollar coin, let's first take a look at the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1932. It's named after the first president, George Washington, and features his profile on the obverse side, while the reverse side shows an eagle and a ribbon with the words E Pluribus Unum. Over the years, the design has evolved, but the coin's value is often determined by its rarity, minting errors, or special edition releases. So, if you're out there searching your pockets, keep an eye out, because certain quarters can be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Now, let's zoom in on the 1997 D Mint Mark Washington quarter, specifically. At first glance, a regular 1997 D quarter may look like any other quarter you'd find in circulation. It was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D Mint mark on the reverse side, just below the eagle. But there's something special about this coin that makes it incredibly valuable. In 1997, most of the quarters that were struck at the Denver Mint were standard issue, meant for regular circulation. So, how did this one particular 1997 D quarter end up being worth $1.7 million? Let's take a closer look at the mysterious factors that contribute to its incredible value. The $1.7 million 1997 D Washington quarter is not just any regular coin. It became an instant sensation because of a unique and rare minting error. You see, the coin was mistakenly struck with a design that made it an off-center error. This is when the die that strikes the coin doesn't align properly, resulting in a misalignment that affects the image, text, and often leaves part of the coin blank or off-center. While off-center errors aren't unheard of in the world of coin collecting, a 1997 D Mint Mark Washington quarter with such a noticeable error is extremely rare. It's one of the most significant examples of this type of minting mistake from that year. And it's the rarity of this error combined with the collector demand that has driven its value up to the mind-blowing $1.7 million. So, how did this off-center 1997 D Washington quarter get its multi-million-dollar price tag? Well, the journey of this rare coin began when it was discovered by a keen-eyed collector at a local coin shop. This collector noticed the misalignment, and after confirming its authenticity and rarity, it was sent to a professional grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, where it received a grade that made it even more valuable. After being professionally authenticated and graded, the coin was sold at auction, where it garnered the attention of high-profile collectors. As demand for rare coins continues to rise, especially for those with unique errors, prices for such coins can skyrocket, and that's exactly what happened with the 1997 D Washington quarter. So, now that we've seen how one lucky collector turned a humble 1997 D Mint Mark quarter into a fortune, let's talk about how you can start spotting rare and valuable quarters. Always be on the lookout for errors like off-center strikes, doubled dies, or incorrect designs. These can increase a coin's value significantly. The mint mark can tell you where the coin was made. Pay close attention to whether it's worn or damaged, which can sometimes indicate a more interesting error. Occasionally, the US Mint releases special edition quarters with limited runs or unique designs, such as the 50 State Quarters program. These are highly sought after by collectors. When checking quarters, use a magnifying glass to look for small details and potential errors that may be invisible to the naked eye. Before you get too excited and start digging through your change jar, it's important to know that finding a rare coin like this 1997 D Mint Mark quarter is incredibly rare. But that doesn't mean you should give up on coin collecting just yet. Even if you don't have a coin worth millions, there are plenty of valuable quarters out there, and sometimes, it's just about doing the research and knowing what to look for. So, there you have it, the 1997 D Mint Mark Washington quarter that became worth $1.7 million, and the story of how it went from a regular quarter to one of the most coveted coins in the world. We hope this video gave you some valuable insights into the world of coin collecting and how to find your own treasures. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found any rare coins. 1998 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. If you've got one of these rare beauties in your pocket, you might just be sitting on a fortune worth up to $1.6 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick with us to find out how this coin became so valuable, and how you can spot one in your collection. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. First, let's start with a little bit of history. The Washington quarter, which you probably know, has been in circulation since 1932. It was first designed by John Flanagan, and its design featured George Washington's profile. Over the years, the coin has undergone minor changes, but it has remained a staple of American currency. Now, the 1998 Washington quarter may seem like just another coin from the 90s, but believe it or not, it has something truly unique that can make it worth a whole lot more than its face value. Here's where things get interesting. The D Mint mark refers to the Denver Mint, which is one of the U.S. mint facilities responsible for producing coins. Most Washington quarters you'll come across from 1998 will have this mint mark. But here's the thing, most of these coins are fairly common, and they're worth just 25 cents, unless they're in perfect condition, of course. Now, what sets some of these 1998 D Washington quarters apart from the rest is not just the mint mark, but an incredibly rare error that makes certain examples worth millions of dollars. Let's dive into the coin error that has collectors buzzing, the close AM error. This particular variation is extremely rare, and its discovery has stunned the coin community. You see, on a typical 1998 D quarter, the letters A and M in America are spaced far apart, as they should be. But in a few rare cases, these letters are much closer together, creating the close AM error. On a regular quarter, the and M are spaced farther apart. But on the close AM error, they're closer than usual. This small, yet crucial difference is what makes the coin worth an astronomical amount of money. So, why is a close AM error coin from 1998 worth so much? Well, to put it simply, it's rare. In fact, only a few examples of the 1998 D close AM Washington quarters have been discovered. Since it's such a rare minting error, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for one in good condition. The value of this coin can soar into the millions, with one particular sale reaching a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, one of these quarters sold for over $1 million at auction. The rarity of the error, combined with its condition, is why the price tag is so high. And this isn't just a fluke, there's a real market demand for error coins like these. Collectors and investors alike are always on the lookout for these types of rare finds. Now you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare coins? Great question. Here's how to spot the 1998 D close AM Washington quarter. The most important feature to look for is the space between the letters A and M in America. In a typical 1998 D quarter, there's a noticeable gap between the A and M. But on the close AM error, those two letters are very close together, almost touching. You'll need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to see this clearly, as the difference is quite small. Once you've found a 1998 D close AM coin, the next thing you need to check is its condition. The higher the grade of the coin, the more it's worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Coins in higher grades, like MS-65 or MS-66, can fetch much higher prices. The key to a valuable coin is its appearance. There should be minimal wear, scratches, or discoloration. Let's talk numbers. If you happen to find a 1998 D close AM coin in good condition, you could be looking at anywhere from a few $1,000s to millions. Coins that are well preserved, have no major flaws, and are in high demand can go for huge amounts at auction. Some 1998 D close AM coins have been known to fetch up to $1.6 million, like the one we mentioned earlier. But even coins with minor imperfections can still command impressive sums. So, it's always worth checking your change, your collections, or even your inherited coin stash to see if you have one of these gems. Now that you know the value of the 1998 D close AM Washington quarter, you might be wondering, where can I sell this coin if I have one? Well, there are several options for selling rare coins. You can sell to a reputable coin dealer, either in person or online, or you can try auction platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Stack's Bowers. If you do decide to sell, make sure you get your coin authenticated by a professional grader first, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, so you can get the best price. So, there you have it, everything you need to know about the 1998 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin and how it became a $1 million rarity. If you happen to have one of these close AM era coins in your collection, you could be holding on to a small fortune. 2002 Mint Mark Washington quarter that sold for a whopping $1.8 million. You heard that right, $1.8 million. Stick around as we dive deep into what makes this coin so valuable, and how you might just have one hiding in your pocket or change jar. First, let's take a quick look at the standard 2002 Washington quarter. These quarters were produced at the Denver Mint and feature the image of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the front, with an eagle on the reverse side. This coin was part of the America the Beautiful series that was being minted at the time. Now you're probably wondering, what's so special about this specific coin? After all, millions of these were minted. The answer lies in a few key details that can make one of these quarters worth a staggering amount of money. Let's zoom in on the rare 2002 quarter that's worth $1.8 million. This specific coin is what collectors refer to as a double die error coin. Double die coins occur when a coin is struck more than once during the minting process, which causes the design to appear doubled, hence the name. In this case, the doubling was on the "In God We Trust" inscription. Look closely at this coin here. See how the lettering looks more pronounced or doubled in some places? That's a result of the error during minting. And this is where the magic happens. While double die coins are rare, they're not impossible to find. But a double die coin with this specific error, from the 2002 mint, is incredibly rare and, as we'll see, worth a small fortune. So how was this amazing coin discovered? In 2002, thousands of these quarters were released into circulation. For most people, they went unnoticed, just another quarter. But then, a sharp-eyed collector noticed something unusual about a coin in their pocket change. After a closer inspection, it was clear that this coin had the distinctive double die error. Finding a coin like this can be a game-changer for any collector. But it wasn't just any coin, it was an ultra-rare, double die error coin, and the person who found it didn't just hold onto it, they knew they had something special. Fast forward to 2018, and the 2002 double die Washington quarter was sold at an auction. The bidding started modestly, but as collectors recognized its rarity, the price skyrocketed. In the end, it fetched an astonishing $1.8 million. That's right, a single quarter was worth more than $1 million, and it set a new record for the highest price ever paid for a 2002 Mint Mark quarter. Now you might be wondering, what exactly made this coin so valuable? Well, aside from the obvious rarity of the error, it was in mint condition, which is another factor that contributed to its extraordinary value. Coins that are well preserved, free from scratches, dents, or other damage, are often worth much more. When a coin is graded at a high level, such as MS67 or higher, it becomes even more desirable to collectors. So, what should you look for to spot a rare coin like this? Let's break it down. First, check the mint mark. In this case, we're looking for the 2002 mint mark. Next, examine the coin closely for any signs of doubling in the lettering or design. The most common error in the 2002 is the doubling of "In God We Trust," but other parts of the design could be affected as well. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely inspect the inscriptions and the details. If you see any irregularities or doubled features, you might have a coin that's worth more than face value. And remember, not every doubled coin is worth millions. The condition and rarity of the error play a huge role in the final value. Once you find a rare coin, it's important to get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition, which can drastically affect its value. For example, a coin with an MS68 grade or higher will fetch a much higher price than a coin that's been damaged or worn. So, that's the story behind the 2002 Washington quarter worth $1.8 million. It's an incredible reminder of how rare errors can lead to life-changing fortunes for those who discover them. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell for more coin collecting tips and stories. And as always, check your pocket change. You never know what treasures might be hiding in there.